What's up?
What's up? How y'all doing?
You made it in. We're good. We're good.
Yes.
Now, looking at you, this is not the Hope that
we know.
Ah, shit.
What happened, Hope?
Okay, guys, you are going to see a photo because we got to insert the photo.
Right.
This guy.
Yeah.
What was the most noticeable trait of you that you would say most people will call out?
My hair, for sure.
Your hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy had like a treetop of hair on top of his head.
Right.
Yeah.
You can see him from a mile away.
And then his name itself, Hope.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Shout out to my dad.
Shout out to the daddy.
So what made you cut your hair?
Yeah.
COVID or what?
Nah, it was just time. I had it for like, I want to say 5 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like it served its purpose, man. You know, I got into certain rooms. I got on certain shows just because of the way my hair looked. So,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it served its purpose. I made my connections, and I felt like I didn't need my hair for people to, you know, associate with.
Nice.
Who you are.
That's for sure. I can understand that.
But do you feel like you lost a part of you, or do you feel like a new person?
Kinda. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. When I like the first month when I cut it, I felt I didn't know what to think. I want to say I was lost, but I was just. It was weird. It was a very weird feeling.
Right. So you said, because I mean, we personally know each other from being on set.
Yeah.
That's when we met,
Yeah.
and your hair was a big part of that.
Yeah.
And you have been an actor.
Yeah.
Are you from LA?
Well, I was born out here, but I was majority of my life raised in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then after college, moved back out here. And, yeah, I mean, if you've been to Arizona, it's kind of, hot.
Yeah.
It's hot right now.
Yeah,
in
it's
LA.
kind of hot. So,
Yeah. So did you... Okay, so I knew you from acting, and that was, what you were doing. And then you transition into film.
Yeah.
Right.
And writing and producing,
Yes.
and just tell us about it.
Right.
Like,
How did you get all the
let's
way
get
over
into
there?
that.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a journey. I've met so many actors in LA. But what I was coming to find out is I didn't know a lot of writers, or I didn't know a lot of producers.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to find a different lane. And being on set as an actor, that was fun. It was cool. But when I started to really pay attention to, behind the camera and everything it takes to run a set, I wanted to do that. It's more of a creative side, and it's challenging. It's very challenging, but it's one big collaborative effort.
Right.
So I just fell in love with writing, being able to tell my stories, and then even producing, helping people tell their own stories, and things that people can relate to.
Right.
So yeah.
So
cool. She has all the questions. So
go ahead.
No, I think
hey
that
guys, everybody who's watching out there,
don't forget to hit the like button and show your girls
share,
and
comment, some love, and go ahead.
So this is I'm talking to our listeners as well. So if you have any questions throughout this podcast, we would ask that put them out there, because we're here to learn from each other. So like, if you feel anything, if you're in this type of industry, or if you're thinking about anything, be more than welcome to be involved
and ask any questions if you want to Hope, because he's here.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, yeah. So Hope, like, you're in this industry, and have you felt like is it hard for someone who is trying to do that? And like, how do you feel?
Like acting?
Well, yeah, because he went from acting to producing and directing as well, and writing. Like, you did the whole shabam. So is it like a hard transition to do all of these things, or to even, have your creativity be heard?
In ways, it's definitely difficult. You go from sticking to the script and telling the story that way. But I don't know. You just if you're very observant of how the sets run, and there's YouTube. We have Google, at our hands.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's much easier to kind of learn what you want to do, whether it's writing, paying attention to television shows and feature films, kind of how their beat sheets are, how they structure their story, to producing. Producing is just gaining a lot of resources and being able to help anyone who wants to tell a story, and just putting all the pieces together. So it can be difficult, but the main thing is finding your tribe. You know what I mean? Finding like-minded people that are attempting to do the same thing that you're doing.
Right. I
That's
love
great.
that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest thing in any business is your team.
Yes.
Because you need the right people to do
the
right things.
Yeah.
And want to do it, especially on the come up.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
and I know you have your team.
Yeah, I got a team. That's one of the key things in this industry that you need is a team. You can't do it alone. If you do, you're going to be... I mean, it's physically impossible to do filmmaking alone. There's so many different parts.
Right.
Who's going to hold the camera?
Exactly.
Right.
You got a gaffer, grip.
Yeah. Who's going to do the wardrobe? Who's going to do the makeup?
There's hard manual labor that goes on set. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. There is.
Yeah.
Oh, I realized that.
We're
when I was
learning
on
it
set.
right now, too.
So I remember the first project that you were working on was Shootouts.
Yep.
And I seen you out there. I came to visit the set, and you had, I don't remember her name, but she's on one of those shows.
Oh, KJ.
KJ, yes.
Yeah, KJ Smith.
Yeah. And you had other great, really great actors, all black cast, and...
Yeah, Eric Roberts on that set, too.
I thought you didn't like black. What happened to melanated?
Melanated cast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
for
worries.
being on
I'm
that.
just checking you out.
Yeah.
Making sure you're saying the right
Melanated
words.
voices.
Yeah, and you're always working on different projects. I remember even one time I was in Barcelona and he was like going to Ibiza.
Yeah, I was in Ibiza.
And we crossed paths, didn't see each other, but hey, I'm in Spain too.
Yeah.
Random.
Yeah, that was dope. I got to work out there too, so
yeah,
that was just a different experience. I felt like that actually opened my mind to a lot of different things.
In Ibiza?
Yeah, in Ibiza, it was just I haven't been out of the country in a very, very long time, so just that
so
whole
how did
experience.
that whole experience come
yeah,
about?
let us know.
It was through a good friend of mine. His name is Chip. Chip the Ripper. He's a rapper. He knew some people that lived in Ibiza, and they were looking for a writer. So he was like, "Yo, this is one of the best writers I know." So he linked us up, and he gave me an opportunity to write one script. I did it, and he had an idea for another story that he wanted as a script and a book. So he flew me out there. He put me up the 5 most top expensive resorts. He was like, "You're gonna be right here. All right, you're gonna be right here. You're gonna be right here throughout the whole month."
Wow.
And my mind was just. That was the first time where it was financial freedom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Isn't that lovely?
This guy's damn near a billionaire, and it was just whatever I needed. He was like, just give me a great story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that was the first time that I was able to just live like that and work. And, it was wild.
So, and then I seen the experience, obviously.
The culture, everything.
And going through that experience and then coming back, what was that transition like? Did it motivate you to want to do this even more?
It definitely made me want to go harder. Just experiencing that, and someone having that much faith and confidence in me. To fly me up and spend thousands of euros. For real,
not dollars.
I didn't have to
euros.
I didn't have to spend anything. I came out of pocket for nothing. They just showed me so much love. So that's. I was like, man, if filmmaking can bring me here, I got to keep going.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I don't know if you have any questions, but how long does it take you to write a script? Because how many scripts did you make out there?
I mean, so while I was out there, I did 3 scripts. I did one. Okay, so it was a week and a half. I did the first project for him. He already knew what it wanted to be, and then he wanted that to be a book as well. So I just kind of. Went in, he was like, "Yo, go out, see the city." And I was like, "No, I want to work. I'm out here to work. I don't want to get lost on the island. Let me just work."
Right.
So he put me up in a villa, and I was typing like 3, 4 a.m. just nonstop.
Dope.
And then that was done in about a week and a half, and then and I got inspired about what I was going through, so I kind of wrote like a Fear and Loathing, like in Los Angeles, kind of. I mean, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I wrote one of those kind of stories, but my perspective being in Ibiza. And just everything I learned, and then he wanted, another project, so I started working on that for him as well.
Nice.
So it really just depends on the story, how much I can relate to it. There's some stories that will come to me. Like I wrote a spec script. There's a movie called The Warriors, and I just literally wrote a pilot just from what I remember from that movie, just to keep my creativity going. So
oh wow!
And that was in 2 hours.
Oh wow!
Like I wrote that in 2 hours, like the full pilot. It was about 30 minutes or 40 pages. So yeah, it just depends on the story. There's some projects like Shootouts I wrote. It took me a month. That was the first thing I ever written, and I was just reading other people's scripts. That's how I would learn. I'd be on set, people would leave the whole script behind. I'd take it home. Hey.
No incriminating evidence, okay?
Hey, there got to be a statute of limitations.
Right. You got to learn from somewhere.
Yeah, but hey, I had to learn from somewhere,
Right.
Even, watching TV shows and kind of seeing like, all right, there's the A story, then they got the B character, then the C the character, and then, how they weave
There's
them
like
in
an
and out.
antagonist and a protagonist.
Yeah.
So, you got to learn.
Well, we decode stories
every time
movies,
we watch stuff.
every time, and we like to uncover the ancient meaning behind, because what we realize is that all stories kind of have the same story around it. So, especially like Disney films.
Yeah.
So the mother always dies.
Right.
The girl always is going through something that's for her ascension. So she'll play the Jesus character or something.
Yeah.
So like we've realized stories like that. So it's always interesting to hear somebody who's actually making the film, writing it.
Yeah.
And
it's like, where do you get your creativity of like, are you, is there a story behind the story?
I think most stories come to me either if I'm reflecting on, a moment in my life that I had, to, thinking back, with family members, just experiences. Even when you're out in the world, you can overhear a conversation, and it's like, oh, that's a character right there, or I can put that in dialogue somewhere. So it's really just being observant of this situation that you go through in life. You kind of got to go through things, and that's how the story comes about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. And then, as a writer, there'll be these moments where I'll have a creative spark, and it just comes out of nowhere. And then that's really how I can, write to, a week to 2 weeks, get, at least the first draft done.
Yeah.
Just because I'm that fueled to complete it.
Right. I guess,
That's
that's
cool.
the truth.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
passion will get you anywhere.
Right.
Especially if you got a notepad or a laptop, you just keep going. Like you're like tap.
But I feel like it's just a lot of people don't get to, I guess it's LA a little bit, where people feel more comfortable sharing their creativity and wanting to put themselves out there, because they see that it's not just a dream, it can actually happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that experience is like for a black man who, say, maybe he does want to take the creative route, which a lot of melanated gentlemen do, whether it become rappers or, artists, period.
Yeah.
I'd say just do it. When I was, growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to be. At first, I thought I wanted to be a journalist. I was really into journalism. I knew, I could write.
So writing's always been a thing.
Yeah, that's his whole life path.
I was like, I could write, but I just didn't know where to go with that. There's so many different avenues you can do with writing.
True.
And then I wanted to be like a DJ and a producer, and because I love hip hop so much. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I was in college, and I went for business management, because I knew if anything that I'm going to be in is going to be a business.
Yeah.
So I got to know the basics.
Exactly.
And then, I was working at hotels, so I thought I was going to be in the hotel industry. And then one day I just quit my job. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, yo, this isn't for me. I know, like, my life, there's something else.
It's more than this.
It's more than this.
Yeah.
And they wanted to, I had the opportunities to get, promoted to GM, you know what I mean, and run the hotel. But I'm young, man. I'm not gonna dedicate my life to this hotel.
Exactly.
And making somebody else's dream come true.
It's true.
For sure.
That's kind of how they treat you.
Yeah.
You're working for them. So I randomly got into this industry, like randomly. It wasn't planned. It wasn't, it just happened.
Right.
So I felt like if I was able to do it, and I'm still learning every day and still trying to create every day, but I feel like you just got to get it done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Meet people. Networking is
a key thing.
It's very key. It's half the
outside
battle.
of only production and getting to know people in your field, it's like
in every field.
Networking is like you got to network with people, and I'm talking about people who will put you on to better things.
Right.
Not just that normal mundane experiences. Like you need to meet people to be somebody. Like it's always like who you know. It's who you know.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and it doesn't hurt meeting people who are more knowledgeable. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I've learned through a lot of people who I was on set with, and that's how I was able to gain a lot of the knowledge. I didn't go to film school. I learned on set.
Wow.
You know what I find very interesting is that most people that I know that are successful in the industry that they choose, whether it be a designer, whether it be an artist, they never went to school.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They never went. And one designer that I'm close with, and she's a very big common designer, and she told me, she was like, for the design part of making stuff, the creativity part is one thing, but nobody's gonna give you that will to keep going when things hit the fan.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And you don't give up.
Yeah.
That's what makes a business successful.
Oh, yeah.
Is when things hit the fan and you have to troubleshoot.
Right.
And you just complete the task, even how bad it is, how messed up it is. And she was like, and that's what a lot of students don't realize, and that's why they don't make it in that industry usually.
Yeah.
Because they only been focusing on the creativity part and not realizing, hey, it takes a lot to run a business.
Well, I think with education, it's important to have, and it's important to think. But it's not going to get you.
He said, I'd rather go and learn about business.
Right.
Because
like
that's,
people
I'm
rather
gonna
the
need
trade,
Exactly.
the trade than to get the educational part of it. But whatever the lecture of it.
Right.
So with that, it's like.
You can always learn everything online now.
Yeah, for sure. We're in a new time in this world where like our creativity surpasses our education. Even there's like research that says that.
Right.
Being creative doesn't have to come from education. It comes from the heart. It comes from the soul.
Right.
It comes from like
you're already creative.
Exactly.
It basically like you were just saying, like how you bumped into it. You weren't even thinking about getting in that industry. It was because that was your destiny.
Yeah.
It was to bump into a new environment, a new way of writing.
Every job that I've had, every situation I've gotten, any opportunity that I've had has always been never me outwardly going to look for. It's been person like, hey, do you want to do this?
Exactly.
Or, hey, can you do? And then you're like, oh, sure.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, my hair, it's crazy to think, but how my hair was, that's how I got into the industry.
Yeah.
That's
Like
how we
someone
know
seen
you.
That's how I know
Yeah,
you.
like
I mean, I would
Guys,
even
when
talk
I
to you
saw
if I
this-
didn't see you.
A
No,
casting-
I'm just kidding.
A casting
He walked
director,
over. I was like, who's this guy?
I was like, who do you think he is? Is he a rapper or something?
Hey, a casting director seen me on the street and was like, you should act. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I got into the industry. So
Oh,
I
that's
always
cool.
take somebody saying, you should try this out. See
Yeah.
how it goes.
And
You
you're
know?
like,
So what made you do your hair like that? Like what made you say, I'm going to walk around with my hair like this?
It was just the fact that it was a conversation starter. Like,
Right.
no matter where I was, people was like, yo, you're an artist, right? Oh, okay,
yeah,
what you do? Like, just
Right.
off
Yeah.
the rip. Like, I could
Yeah.
have been like, oh, no, like, I'm not an artist. But I've met so many people,
That's
whether
true.
it's in the streets to, you know, just festivals to even on set, and they'll feel comfortable. I was approachable, you know what I mean? So that's I think that was a good thing.
That's
and then
great for networking.
Yeah, and then I even made money off of it. You know what I mean? So it was you know, how could I hate it? It just grew to a point where it was too much. You know what I mean? But
he turned into the weekend and was like,
I don't mind putting your age out there, but how old are you?
I am 29.
29.
Hey.
And how long did you have your hair like that?
For 5 years.
You're a Capricorn, right?
I'm a Capricorn.
Hey.
Yeah, you guys.
Capricorn. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so you had it for 5 years and you outgrown that because you're getting older and you're like, okay, I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Well, I think the moment that I decided that I didn't want to solely focus on acting and I wanted to get into behind the camera is when I decided to cut it, because I really had it, because it was like I would be on set and no one else would have that style. So it was so much, even the auditions I would go into, sometimes they'd be like, yo, hey, we want you, like your hair, it's crazy, it's good for camera, boom. And I was, you know, I had the talent to back it up.
Right.
But when I wanted to be a writer and a producer, I didn't need to rely on that anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I like that.
A lot of writers that you see in the street, or even producers, you wouldn't know what they look like. You know what I mean? Like most directors, you know, you'll barely see them in the street and won't know who they are. You see Steven Spielberg, you might have to double take. But that was the moment when.
So I recently was watching Netflix, and they are putting out more African films.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
And which is great, because
African films or melanated films?
They're African films, so it's all over Africa.
Oh,
yeah, so they have like South African, Nigerian, just
really?
all over. Yeah,
my mom used to watch all the Nigerian movies.
You know,
I grew up
you're Nigerian, aren't
He's
you?
Nigerian.
Yeah. Okay,
that's why this was the conversation.
Okay.
Man, I grew
You're
up
catching
on
now.
Oh, that's
Lagos
pretty
Boys,
dope.
all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are good. You guys
okay.
Okay.
Why are you running?
Why are you running? I love that one. Why are you running? I love that accent.
Yes. That's my uncles all day.
Your
I love
uncles.
it.
Shout out to Africa, Nigeria. Do we have anybody from Nigeria in the building?
We're all there. There should be a lot. So what I was talking about was,
I think so.
We see now, like, a lot of companies are coming out and saying, you know, Black Lives Matter, and
we're going
all
to
of
this.
Because I think it's interesting. So for me, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. But I also feel like it's like, hey, we're gonna put this in your face, so like you still support us. Like, yeah, we're supporting you, but like, just a couple years ago when the movement was starting, they were like, oh no, like
they didn't even give it a chance.
Support that. They didn't give it a chance. They didn't say anything about it. But now it seems as though like everybody's catching on.
Oh, I've seen it. I even seen like a store, sorry to interrupt you, say leave a donation. This is going to be donated to Black Lives Matter. And they don't say Black Lives Matter, it's hashtag BLM.
Exactly. And we honestly,
that's what we are, BLM.
We don't even know what is BLM even giving money
that's so
to. Are they giving money to the community?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the conversation.
You know I do that.
Going back, how do you feel about that? Like, for me, it feels like, okay, they're using us to make a profit still, but how do you feel about the industry really just accepting melanated people even more now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's been so many industries that profit off of, you know, black bodies and just people of color in general. They've been doing that for years, making money off of us.
Right.
So now I feel like, you know, even if, you know, they're not as of supportive, I feel like it's a great thing. You know, we gotta take it to our advantage.
Good way.
You know, they're even giving us, you know, it's crazy to think that it's 2020 and this is what it's taking to get our voices heard.
Right.
But, you know, I feel like through, you know, this pandemic, it's really forced people to open their eyes and, you know, to be like, oh, like, even if they didn't believe in it before with the whole movement, they're forced. Like, I was out there protesting with everyone, and it was just great to see the unity that everyone, you know, came for the cause. So yeah, I just feel like it could be a vibe that they're just trying to use it to make money, but then I feel like there are companies and production companies that are actually for it as well.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect time to really just let us tell our stories, our narratives, and hey, if this is what it took for us to do it, so be it.
Right, right. I
'Cause
mean, I'm all
nothing's
for it
wrong.
as long as that they're, this is a black writer in production.
Yeah, like
and
that's
these are what the money.
But it's
and-
always backing the big companies, though.
Yeah, well, Netflix is a big company,
Right.
but I personally love Netflix because of all the diversity in the films.
And it's always done that before there was any protesting.
I mean, majority of the films I watch are the international ones that
Yeah.
either have subtitles or the really messed up English.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like
Those
the
are good.
best films to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like they just need to put more, people of
And-
color, in
Yeah,
certain positions. not
exactly.
just keeping them
Yeah,
as staff
positions.
writers or,
Yeah.
being able to promote them within.
right.
Whether it's, the crew, whether it's the production, whether it's the writers, we just need a bigger percentage.
Right.
I think
Right.
it's going to get there, though.
Yeah,
You know?
it's slowly
It's
getting
slowly
there.
getting
There's
there.
even actors who are backing away from their like there's animated shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's white people who are voicing black characters.
Right.
So
Oh,
those
right.
characters are even stepping back and saying, hey,
Yeah.
give this to someone of color.
Right.
So it's starting to get there, but we have a long way to go.
How
a
do you
long way.
feel in the industry as a man of color, being young and, and especially now that you don't have your hair to rely on? How do you feel that now when you go into these meetings and you're speaking to different companies, how do you feel?
I don't think I didn't really have to rely on my hair. I mean, that was
sorry.
that was more.
Sorry.
Okay, you
like-
tell her. Hope. You tell her. Excuse
Nah, I
me.
mean, it was my
Do you
work
see
ethic,
my
man.
face, my work?
I do
It's just
real
the
good
work ethic,
right.
and
Like-
and
It
just-
wasn't my hair. Let's correct
Nah,
it.
that was that
That's
was
why I
just-
cut
bad.
it. That's
You
why
know
I
My
cut
bad,
it.
homie.
Hey man,
Want to show
hey, that's
you.
the name of the game. You know,
Right.
sometimes they go for the look more than the actual talent. We've seen
Yeah.
that on so many
Right.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But then when you get
Okay.
behind the camera, it all comes down to work ethic and
exactly.
your
Right.
attitude, and
Right.
can people work with you? Are
Right.
you a good human being? Like it
Right.
just comes down to.
So it's never like a race thing you felt like you've encountered?
I mean, most of the people who I've been working with, producer wise and writing with, they've all been friends and colleagues of mine.
Okay.
So I
Oh,
never
that's
really had to deal with it. We're just trying to tell our stories. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like within the studio space, trying to get your your project picked up by a studio, it's a lot tougher being a person of color for sure.
Yeah.
And it just all falls down to the connections.
Mm.
The industry in filmmaking is you got to build your connections, your
Right.
Right.
network. You can't just walk into Netflix with an idea like
Yeah.
it takes a
You can't do that.
you can't just walk into anywhere. Like
Right.
it's a constant journey and a battle.
Yeah.
Just to get distribution and to get a sales agent and even the financial backing.
Right,
So I feel like filmmaking is it's a difficult journey. But if you love it, you love it.
It comes down to what you love.
So you got all these things going on in film. Is there any new things that you want to talk about? Like any new films that are coming out or that you're working on? And how is it during COVID to work on these type of projects?
A lot of Zoom calls and FaceTimes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that, which is kind of, it's got its pros and its cons. Mostly, when I'm collaborating, I like to feed off of energy.
Right. Right.
How fired up are we talking about this project, to visualizing it, to plan, plotting, and strategizing it. But you can do that virtually as well. So, it's been a lot of those Zoom calls. I'm producing a neo noir called A Private Eye. And then we were about to film, but we had to push it back. I'm doing a horror film as well called A Soda Squeeze. Horror.
The soda squeeze.
The soda
No,
squeeze.
a soul to squeeze.
Oh.
Yeah, a soul
You
to
know we
squeeze.
like
We're
that.
like, this is gonna be an interesting
Yes,
one.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
wow.
Yes, and it's very contemporary, and it's talking about a lot of topics that are going on right now. at the same time, it's a horror film.
Nice.
So I've been watching a lot of horror
I like
films a lot lately.
I've been watching a lot of crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been obsessed with Blacklist.
Oh yeah, Blacklist is fire. I love dramedies and dramas. But horror, I learned, getting into the business it's a lot easier to get a horror film sold, or to get it made. You need maybe $2 to $5 million.
Wow.
And they always, damn near make their money back.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
It just, depends on what distribution company you're working with and how you, execute the story.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a very informative.
It's like,
I hope you guys are really taking this as inspiration if you are interested in being creative and going after something that is probably something you're not used to. Because I know a lot of people, I always get like, well, the main thing is like, how do I do it? What should I do?
The main
and it
thing
always comes down to you already know what to do.
Yeah,
it's called go.
I feel like a lot of people just want someone to tell them that they can do it.
Yeah.
That's like a confidence booster, and it's like, okay, I can do it. But I mean, they even have. I've been watching a lot of master classes lately. Like there's master class, Spike Lee is on there, Shonda Rhimes. I was watching Ron Howard this morning, but there's a lot of directors and writers and producers who are kind of telling you, giving you information on how to get it done.
Right, exactly.
It's very informative, and you get to see some of your favorite writers and directors, breaking it down to you.
As your personal teacher.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been, watching during this quarantine, just to, help me stay creative and, inspired.
Giving you some motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we've been in the house, so it's easy.
I think like this is the perfect time to like let go of your fear and just like do it. You have no choice. You're stuck in the house. You can't go out, and they're giving you extra time to be stuck in the house some more.
It's like house bored.
Right. When I'm bored, I be saying that too. I'm like stuck in the house bored. And I'm like, all right, do something creative. And it's like, do whatever it is that you want to do. There's no limit. Stop having yourself, like every episode we've talked about, it's like people have their self-cap. It's like, I can't do it. I need someone to tell me that this is going to be okay, that I can do it. I need a second opinion. And the second opinion should always be you. It should always be yourself. It should always come down to you. One day you're going to urge yourself to do what you want to do, because it's like applying for a job, right? They all apply for a job, and then they're waiting and then forget about it. And then all of a sudden someone calls them, but it was the work of them trying to get a job, because that's what people do.
Exactly.
And
it's
they get
steps.
It's the steps. You have to take the same. And I always use business as a same thing that you should do in your house. If they have a guideline and they have a orientation, whatever they have, like
how business runs,
right? So
take that into
your personal life.
Yeah.
If you have to check your email first, you have to do all these things first. Like, you implement that in your life. Like, start making yourself a schedule, because they put you on a schedule. They told you what time you need to come in.
Right.
So what time you gonna come in for your life?
Yep.
Right.
You set deadlines for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a huge thing. It's deadlines.
Because goals and deadlines.
It's true.
Yeah.
Deadlines is perfect.
How, like, what do you think? Because that is actually very hard to do, because it's hard to keep yourself accountable for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I feel as though we give other people more respect than ourselves. We respect other people's time more than we respect our own. We give up our time before, and this is why I believe in working out first thing in the morning, especially have work, is like, I rather do something for me before I do something for anybody else.
Facts.
Yeah.
The first thing in the morning. I'm not going to start my day without doing me.
Something me.
And then I'll do you later.
Of course. Yeah.
How do you set deadlines, especially, or keep yourself under discipline when you're a creative?
Right.
Through many ways. Like you said, I definitely make sure I go on a run every morning. I do something for myself first. We just started doing that. Yeah, I go on a run. It's starting to get hotter, though.
Yeah. You got to go early.
Yeah.
You got to live by the beach. You're in the valley.
Exactly. You're up in the heat.
Sorry, I'm calling you out on here.
Putting his address on this drum.
That's a good point. The beach is the vibe.
Yeah.
But I felt like, just getting... what helped me was getting a whiteboard, so you can visually see something.
Definitely have one of those.
You know what I mean? Just visually, it's implemented into your head every day.
Right.
And then, you know, if you want something bad enough, you got to stop it. Like, there comes a point where you realize you're procrastinating.
Right.
You know, so you have to really just set a deadline for yourself and try to accomplish it, you know, but don't be too hard on yourself. You can always set it for, you know, but be realistic with yourself as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, just setting, you know, tiny goals. It'll take you a long way. I mean, filmmaking is, you know, trial and error. You know, you got to be willing to, there is failure, you know. On set, there's always something that's going to go wrong that you didn't plan for. But you have to be willing, you have to be willing to adapt. It's how, you know, it's like, you got to keep the morale, and you can't, you know, be too stressed about it. You know, at the end of the day, like, we're not saving the world, but, you know, what we are doing costs a lot of money. And, you know, you got to value everyone's time and effort. So,
Dang, you said a lot.
Yeah.
You said a lot. Good stuff.
Point.
Good stuff.
So do we have anyone who has any questions so far? Or no?
Yes, definitely drop some questions. We have some compliments. Very nice show from Gerard. Hey, Gerard. Thank you for tuning in. Shireen says, looking good, ladies.
Thank
you, Shireen, for coming on in.
Thank you, Shireen.
And yeah, definitely drop some comments in here and let us know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a great topic, especially because you're a millennial, you're young, you're melanated, you're what's actually you're very current. You're in those in your what they would call culture. I would feel
culture is perfect way of saying it.
It's just interesting to always get that perspective of like keeping our ear to the street.
Exactly. I mean, that's what, you know, I adored about Spike Lee, you know, growing up. Like, I would always watch Crooklyn with my mom and, like, do the right thing.
I love that show.
Like,
that movie. I cried.
Yeah, it's like,
that is
he
with
was,
the mom.
He was so current, you know. He really had his ear to the street, and it was, you know, we could relate to those stories in so many levels. And, you know, they were so relevant.
That was
They're still relevant.
Shootouts.
Yeah.
When I mean, did that drop?
No, not yet. Not yet. We're submitting to film festivals, actually.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. I really am excited for that one to come out. I've seen, like, the behind the scenes of it. So and that was your first film.
That was my first film.
Yeah. And that's you put exciting. A lot of work behind. I don't want to backtrack, but I just to see, you know, somebody, I've done photo shoots that we've creative directed and put things together for, and I know what it feels like to see your idea come into your face, and you have all these people to kind of support you and support this idea that you're putting forward, and it's like all around, even if it doesn't do anything or if it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. Like, when I'm on set, I know there's no place that I'd rather be but on set creating. That's how I knew, like, yo, this is my passion. This is my purpose. This is what I'm here for, because you'll be on set anywhere from 8 hours to 15, you know, hours. The longest I've ever been on set was about 16 and a half hours.
Wow.
You know, then golden time kicks in and everything like that. But, you know, that's one of the reasons why I began to produce, because I loved telling my stories. And, you know, I was able to realize how many people were supporting me. So I was like, well, I want to be able to be someone's support system. You know, if they have a project, well, I want to be able to help other people bring their stories to life as well.
And you did that on a couple of projects.
Yeah, last year I produced about 4 projects, like back to back. And a lot of that came through me being on set, working, and someone seeing me and saying, hey, like, I'm a writer as well. I have a project. Like, I want to holler at you. So I got work by working, you know? So, yeah, that's how a lot of opportunities came to me. And, you know, it feels good to be able to put a good crew of people together that just wants to work and you know, be a part of telling a great story.
That's what's
so cool.
up.
I don't want to slide off of this, but I know that you're also into, like, clothing. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. My business,
oh my God,
my business partner, he's more
this
in
man's
it.
a businessman.
A businessman. That's why he went to school for that. All right.
My business partner is, you know, he's the one that's manning it, but I'm
shout
more
it
of,
out, shout it out.
you
Shout
know,
out.
Doomsday USA.
Okay.
Doomsday.
But
All right.
yeah, my guy Bob, he's the one who's really the face of it and making sure the day-to-days go down. I'm
Nice.
whatever he needs help with, whether it's financing or it's marketing or anything like that. I come in. And we, again, any business is, it's teamwork.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need a team for anything that you do. So yeah, kind of, yeah.
You're just a busy man, but this is the thing about life. It's like you can't just be stuck on one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to do multiple things, and to make sure that you're, if one pops, the other might pop.
Yeah. Like I got actor friends that they paint on the side.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Or they have
I've
a
seen that
fashion
too.
line or apparel line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
Your
You're
creativity
keeping your hands
is keeping you
filled.
Yeah.
I realized about 3 years ago I could paint.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew.
Really good painter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. By being creative, you find another creative talent that you didn't even know you had.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just right now I feel like the world is moving towards more creativity. Everybody has to be
They
creative.
have no choice.
To the restaurant saying, hey, we're
Yeah.
going to just take this street parking and that's
Right.
the
That's
new
our
dining
new
room.
dining room.
Yeah.
And it's people are changing
And they're
getting
okay
creative.
with that because everybody's open to, because they have no choice.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, it's like they're at that dangerous moment, because I'm just saying, and then they have to like change.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like you got to do it now. It's
Yeah.
like you have
or what?
or what,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What comes up,
And that's
when the change happens.
Exactly. And that was the whole point of what I was talking about with people going to school for something and then it being more than what they
can't even
bargained
go
for
to
in
school anymore. Right now.
And it's like it always
it's
comes
online.
down to your willpower.
Yeah.
What are you willing to endure to
Right.
have this come true?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't really, I mean, we've been friends for like a while.
It's been some years.
What's your relationship status like?
Yeah,
She's
'cause
trying
we
to get
do.
all
We
into
do.
my
I'm
business.
like,
I know, because I'm like, you've been so work, which I think is great because you're building yourself. You're, going after a dream. So
Yeah.
do you?
No, I mean I feel like it's you do have to, like, when you're dating, it's sometimes it's hard to find somebody who's be patient, with you. I mean, it's kind of like you gotta look at it like this: like, we're only getting older, and you got to do what you want to do. And filmmaking is a different kind of beast. There's not a lot of people who understand it,
Right.
unless they're in the industry. And you date someone who's in the industry, and they kind of understand you're gonna be working long hours. It's kind of tough. You know what I mean? And especially when you have a passion, and that's kind of all you really want to do.
Right.
It's
right.
just filmmaking. Like, most of the conversations, like, I have conversations about what's going on in the world and whatnot, but the majority of my conversations, they pertain to filmmaking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of
That's-
weird. Like, sometimes I gotta let me
do I
read a
gotta
book
talk
really
about?
quick just to take me out of filmmaking for a
Right,
second.
right.
But then there's still
But
the
that's still
story.
the same
Yeah.
It's
thing.
still a story,
Yeah.
so it's like,
And you're already on that mode, like, oh,
You're like,
okay,
oh, that's
this
not
is-
something I
got
can
it.
write about.
yeah, it's, like again, I met you on set. I met so many people on set.
You met me on set too.
Yeah, you met me on set. It's crazy. Like,
I know.
I feel like there's
great.
this big network of us that are just keeping each other going. You guys
Yeah.
got this podcast. It's still content. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like content is key.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel, I'm so proud of you guys and everyone
Aw.
who is,
thank
creating content.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
it's a lot that goes into. You got to muster up the courage.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a
It's
lot
true.
that goes on. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Definitely with this process, I think we saw just how much work we put behind it because we wanted to actually put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was,
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It took time because you have to come up with a plan. You got to come
Yep.
up how you want it to come up.
and then you got
do
to
all
take
these
the
things.
steps.
Right.
And those,
It's those
you
steps.
can't,
And we're still
and you
continuing
can't
to
skip
make a
steps.
You can't.
know?
Cutting
That's-
corners is the
no.
absolute
Yeah.
worst.
Right.
That's the
Because you always
absolute
got to go
worst.
right back around and
Exactly.
make that corner that you,
You can't
try
cut
to cut.
corners.
true.
You
Yeah.
can't do anything,
Yeah.
halfway. You
Yeah.
gotta
It's
do
true.
it how it's
Yeah.
supposed to be
It's
done.
always
Done.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Hope. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's so true.
Right.
And then I think with production and, in the film or making anything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You can't cut any
It's
corners.
like, hey, this is
there's been some sets, and you're supposed to have a film permit, and you're supposed to have insurance, and there's been some
shut
sets.
down.
Yeah, I mean, some sets will get shut down if you don't have it. But then I've also worked on some sets where maybe we didn't have we had a permit, but it's so expensive we only had it for a couple amount of days and not the full shoot.
Right.
So it's
right.
like it's a gamble because they call it guerrilla. It's guerrilla style. You know what I mean? Like, and you definitely it's like guerrilla. Like we're gonna do a guerrilla shoot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know that in a different context. But
yeah. So those are you get adrenaline, and it's so risky by doing those. But then again, you're still risking police or enforcement. Coming on set, or a neighbor calling the police on you, and which we've had on our production, a couple of times.
Karen.
The neighbor's calling the police on me when I'm just trying to feed my kid.
And then the police come, hey, you guys got a permit? Yep, here it is, right here. All right, well, you guys can legally, film. You guys are good. So, you know what I mean? There's always
it's
something
like,
that you
this
run
was
into.
up 2 days ago.
Right? Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So keep it quiet.
I paid for
while
something
you're
full term.
Yeah.
Maybe this was a mistake.
All
I'll
right,
call
just
them
clean it
tomorrow.
up and get out of here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
That's what happens.
You can't cut corners, even when it comes to crew,
That's
food.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I learned.
People are hungry.
I learned if you're gonna have anything on set, make sure the catering and the crafty is popping. Make sure the people eating good.
When I used to be out here, that was definitely
like
everybody wants to eat.
like
everybody wants.
That's what everybody wants.
And you know how you felt when you were on the set and you'd be like, they ain't really got nothing.
Yeah.
They got apples, they got some donuts and bananas. What is this?
What is
Donuts
this?
and bananas.
So you already know,
where's
and
the
we're
food?
here for 16 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Torture.
There's been those.
I'm fasting today.
Right? There's been some horrible experience. But, through those horrible experiences, you
learn.
You learn what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to treat my cast and crew like that. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's the beauty. Like even though like it's pain and it's suffering and you got to learn and fail, it's a beautiful thing because it's like, if I didn't do this, I would have never
You would have never experienced it. You would have never known.
No.
And it's never that hard.
Nah.
Because
anything that it comes to you, like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I work with designers. I work with different industries where it's, like, very much like it's deadlines.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's times where, you have to reach out and try to extend the deadlines. And you just got to do all these things that you feel like, oh, my God, I can't do this. This is just so much.
But then you end
pressure.
up
and then you get through it.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay. Just like a workout. Just
I
like
was gonna
anything.
say that. Anything.
And you're like, why did I ever complain?
It's because it's our nature, It's our nature to complain. It's our nature to feel like.
But
we
then
can't
there's
do
something that's dope that happens, which I love about the human mind, is we become autopilot. We create a habit.
Yeah.
So then when you do enough of those troubleshootings, they could be different ones.
Yeah.
But then that same, I don't want to do, or thing turns into, all right, let's do it. How are we going to complete it? How's it going to get done?
Yeah.
That switch turns on, and I feel like people give up before that switch turns on.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I've seen that in all industries where it's like, people will quit or give up or just say, I can't. And even running, since that's a new thing for us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you think that you can't do it. It's just like you have to push yourself. It's a mind over matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like once you surpass your mind, then there you go.
Right.
Yeah, perseverance.
I meant your matter.
And perseverance and consistency.
Yes.
That's the name of the game, especially in filmmaking. You really got to be consistent. That's how you really learn. Like, you won't learn everything on one set, but as you're repetitive, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I could apply it to this set. Oh, okay, I didn't know that in my production.
Get better.
You just get better,
Same
Each
thing
time.
with this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like it's continuously gotten better. And then you watch things back and you're like, oh my gosh, like last week, guys, I'm so sorry. I did not speak into the mic.
Yeah, we
and
barely could hear her.
But today I hope I am loud enough. Let me know in the comments if y'all can hear me properly. But and you put yourself down a little and you're like, dang, like, okay, I'm gonna clean it up next time. Then now I'm like, I'm in the mic.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, it's trial and error. Anything we do,
Yeah.
that's just the name of the game.
So Hope, we're coming to a halt soon. So we want to know, how is everybody able to connect with you if, they like your vibe and they want to, see what your film's looking like. How can they find you?
You can find me through my Instagram, Hollywood Hope Hundreds with a Z.
Okay.
I have a website at ayiyiproductions.com. I'll have my reel up there soon.
Okay.
Those are the main sites that I'm on.
Nice.
I'm on Twitter every once in a while just to, check what's going on.
Hey.
I got my email, in my bio on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, check out the gram.
And then the clothing line again?
The clothing line, you'll see it on my Instagram as well.
Right. Check it out.
Yeah,
Check it out.
Doomsday.com.
Okay.
Doomsdayusa.com, yeah.
Cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but you can stay, updated on anything I'm doing. I got a couple projects coming out.
Awesome.
The great thing about producing is it's random sometimes. I got a call this morning from my boy Patrick, and he was like, "Yo, let's do 2 projects during quarantine." You know what I mean? We'll keep it safe. We'll make sure we're compliant, with the health and all the regulations. But he was like, "Yo, let's do 2 short films."
Oh, dope.
By the end of this month, I'll be back on set.
Hey.
Healthily, safely. You know what I mean? But
don't come shutting down any sets now.
Exactly. Don't shut us down.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I get super inspired by rap music. Hip hop music, the trap music, the stuff that's current now. I know, guys. We wouldn't expect
you?
Me, right? But I really do, because I feel as though rappers, the same way basketball players get inspired by it. They're speaking about this come up, the work, the atmosphere, and it pipes you up and it gets you excited.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I know a lot of your film, the ones that I've seen are kind of based in that same world.
Yeah.
Is it because that kind of, a lot of our generation period is in that, cadence, I don't know, vibe, whatever way you put it, is a lot of your films that you do based in that world?
The ones that I write, I was having a Zoom conference with this amazing writer. He's an OG. His name's Eric Haywood. But I was breaking it down. He wanted to know what my style was. And I was saying, I'm heavily influenced, on stories about the culture, especially hip hop.
Right.
I feel like that's something that I've been a part of all my life. When I was a kid, I used to have to sneak just to listen to, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, and, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, and everything, because my parents didn't want us listening to curse words or whatever.
Right.
Like, I feel like nowadays it's cool. Like,
kids, they don't
kids
even,
growing
they're on
up,
TikTok.
they on TikTok.
Dance for it.
Yeah.
Man, there's no, parental advisory at all. It's just, here,
No,
just take it
you can
off.
listen to it.
But, me and my brothers would sneak, my dad had this, leather book of just every artist you can think of, from West Coast to East Coast to soul to funk, everything. So we would literally just wait till they're asleep, boom, go listen to it. Make sure we put it back in the right order, so we don't get caught. But I feel like hip hop, there's so many stories. For instance, Shootouts, I wrote it about these characters who were pretty much influenced to do drugs through hip hop and the lyrics that they've been accustomed to. And there's
true story.
Yeah, there's so many people that I've met, and I would be like, yo, why are you doing Xanax, or why is this the drug of choice? Everyone has a vice, but I would be in the studio a lot and ask people, and they'd be like, man, hey, this is hip hop, this is rap, this is the culture, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of kids who, they don't see it for entertainment. They just see it as, oh, this is a lifestyle. I'm about to stay lit 24/7.
Right.
And then, there's drug overdoses, and there's people cutting it, so it's not, it's a gamble, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's what I was noticing at the time when I wrote it.
That's such an important story to tell.
Yeah.
Just being at hip hop festivals like Day and Night and Rolling Loud, and I used to be at Rock the Bells when that was very, very heavy.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I would notice is that everybody went there to do drugs. Like
Yeah,
it didn't matter what
Yeah.
race, like how old they were. Like I
Yep.
see like 15, 16-year-old like white kids like sipping lean and just doing the
Yeah.
wildest shit. But it was just like, hey, this is what hip hop culture has kind of
Right.
pushed on to everybody. Like if you're not smoking or if you're not popping something, then you're, you know, categorized as a lame or something like
Yeah.
that. So it was
But
it was
it's not
very,
even that.
Nah, it was
I think in the if you don't drink or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
I look at you.
I feel like you're
like, okay,
independent. Like
you're
you make your own choices, and no
Yeah.
one can judge you because of that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because
you're
don't
not
do
peer
it.
pressured.
And they're like, okay, like you can still do what you do, but I don't do it. Doesn't
Exactly.
mean that you have to stop doing it. So it's just like,
exactly.
yeah, it's like two sides when it comes to that
It
type
is.
of.
It
I
is.
think
Yeah.
that's so popular in California. Well, maybe I just didn't roll in those circles when I was
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
But in California, at a younger age, kids are popping pills, into
Yeah.
drugs,
Oh,
partying,
yeah.
doing
Mhm.
these things
Mhm.
so quickly and like regularly, and it's just so accessible to
Right.
them. And it's hard to raise children
Yeah.
in
In
this
that type-
environment. And now, since we have the internet, that's
Oh, gosh.
every
Yeah,
environment.
it's
Yeah.
everywhere now.
Yeah.
You know, it's raising a kid. I mean, my
Sorry, you
my
ain't got no
parents
kids, right?
were my age when they had me, so I
Oh, yeah.
reflect on my life so much. Like, man, no wonder why we were going some of the things. You know, we were going through that because they were
Yeah.
my age. I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine
exactly.
raising
Yeah.
Raising the
children
kids,
at my
yeah.
age.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy,
you know what
isn't
I mean?
it?
It's just crazy to think. And I was in the 90s, you know what I
Right.
mean? So,
That's a whole, yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. But yeah, back to the hip hop topic. I do feel like it's very important. I mean, hip hop is everywhere. You know, it's in. You know, you go to Spain. You know, well, actually,
Yeah.
when I was in Spain, it was there, but it was more about house music.
Yeah.
But then,
But then the hip hop was hidden in
hidden
little
and-
other clubs, and it was really
Yeah.
fun. And yeah, it was definitely more house. But I like house music. House music is also Black people's music. It
I'm
started with
not. I'm
that.
not gonna lie. That was the first experience I had with house music when I went to Ibiza, and I fell in love with house. Like,
Yeah.
deep house,
Good.
like
Deep house, yeah.
deep house, like
Oh,
it's
I
just
love
the
deep
vibe.
house.
There was this DJ that
Yeah.
was playing. His name is Black Coffee.
Hey,
And
oh my God,
Black
you saw
Coffee.
Black Coffee?
He
Oh
was.
my
He was at.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, he was out there at a couple of different places.
Yeah.
There's like Coco Loco, Ibiza. But
that's
he
good.
was
That's a good
so
show.
fire. Just from the set, I was like, whoa, this is house music?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, he's
then-
an African guy. doing
yeah,
African-
he goes
yeah,
hard.
Mexican.
He go hard, but then,
Yeah.
you learn
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, there's about to be a drop. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, oh, like
exactly.
there's a whole like formula to deep
Yeah.
house, but also you need deep house because those clubs stay open till 7, 8 a.m.
How are you supposed to keep
How you gonna
going?
say
That was
you
the only
know-
way.
Yeah.
I've never partied that hard since
'Cause it
being out
keeps
there.
going.
It keeps going.
It doesn't stop.
Yes, and-
There's no break where it's like we're gonna stop here.
Yeah,
Uh,
only
we're
hip
not
hop.
even talking.
Only hip hop I listened to is when I went back to the villa. You know, I was by myself or
Yeah.
had a couple people over, play some hip hop. But that deep house music, that
Yeah.
was lit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's what's up.
So, guys, we have to close the door on this topic. I love you
Oh
guys.
my
It was
God.
so dope. Thank you so much.
This
Hope,
was
for
a
coming
Yes.
fun
through.
show. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank you
catching
for
up.
having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming. Guys, don't forget to like, comment on our video. And then don't forget to subscribe to all of our
To our YouTube channel.
Yes, you do.
And on all the social medias,
Yes.
Nothing's Wrong podcast.
Nothing's Wrong.
Thank you
podcast.
again, Hope, for joining
Thanks for
us.
having me.
Yeah.
And next week we
This
will
was
be
dope.
back. Oh,
Yeah.
this was dope. It was dope to have you,
Dope
sir.
to have you,
It
sir.
was very nice to
Yes.
have you here.
Yes.
Thank you
And
for
if you'd
coming.
like to also donate to the channel, don't forget to hit our Cash App at $ Nothing's Wrong Pod. And always remember, nothing's wrong.
Nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot.